Hello, Saints. It's Sister Junebug here, and we are back with another episode recap of Kingdom Business, Season 1, Episode 4. If I could. Isn't there a song? I would if I could. Anyway, okay, this episode was good too. I tell you, all these episodes is good. So let me hurry up and start with this recap, honey. Because this was a bit much. This sister Yolanda Adams, sister Danita, crazy. So I start off with Rebel and her boyfriend. She call him Z, but I think his name is Zion, right? And it's not Zion like Z-I-O-N. It's like Z-Y-A-N or something like that. Anyway, he showed up to her recording studio session with her. That she an hour late and everything. And she high. And she with the jealous boyfriend, right? So, you know, she dressed in some like inappropriate, like hoochie type of thing that Caesar's trying to get her away from. He trying to stop her because it's not the way she should be dressed as a gospel singer. So, anyway, so she giving Caesar all this attitude because she with Z, of course. And all she want to do is make a song out of what her friend, what's her name, the friend that got killed, wrote in that book. You know, the Williams girl, and in the journal Danny, right? I think her name is Danny. So he's telling her she had to do that on her own time, and he wants her to do the song that he want her to do. So he trying to show her man, you know, she just trying to show her man that she ain't changed none. Because he was like, you changed since then. And she was like, no, I haven't changed. So she coming in there acting all up and stuff. So when Caesar tell her he want her to record, it was love, and she like, that's my mother's song. Like, I don't want to do that. I want to do the song from there. You know, that sound like what you want me to do. And so she claims it's too painful. It's too painful for her to sing that song. And then she asks him to, can he order some chicken? Meanwhile, her boyfriend was in there asking earlier, was there any food in the kitchen for them to eat? I said, what in the world are these people doing? They come in there high, and now they want him to feed them and everything. I said, this is nonsense, these young people. What they doing? Anyway, what else happened? So, then they show, you know, like I said, they got the munchies because they've been high. But then they show Taj. He meets with his girlfriend, Essence. You know, she popular recording artist. And she wants to hire him as her producer. She said, since your mama had freed you, you know, and fired you, emancipated you, or whatever she used. She said, I want to hire you. And she said, you know, I did the pop charts and I did the R&B, and now she want to try gospel. And he was like, that ain't a reason to do gospel. You know, he really into God, you know, and he wants you to be right with God. Don't just be singing gospel to be singing it. I just want to try it now, she's saying. So she even fired her producer so she could get Taj to work for her. And so she toasting to it. She all excited, but he really not excited. And so she said, I even have a song. She said, your mama won't like it, but it's like a gospel song. He said, you did a gospel song? She go, it's gospel-ish. I said, what in the world is gospel-ish? Honey, she started singing that song. It was terrible. It wasn't even close to a doggone gospel. She's sitting there talking about, you say you want to worship my body. Well, let me take you to my church, baby. Say you want to worship my body. Won't you take me to your church, baby? And she rubbing her coochie and rubbing her stomach and rubbing down the front of her pants and everything. And Taj is like, what the devil is this? It was so funny. It wasn't even gospelish. It was ridiculous. Okay. Then they show CJ. She go to meet her mama. Her mama's on stage, but she also doing a photo shoot, and they chatting for a minute, and then all of a sudden some lady come over there and hands her interrupts the Danita while she rehearsing and stuff, and she served her with a legal document. And she was like, unless the rapture coming, you need to not be bothering me or something like that. That's the only thing you could be announcing now. And she was like, well, You've been served, honey. And Danita tried to drop it on the floor. She said, if you don't want to spend the rest of your time in jail, you better pick it up or whatever. And then the paperwork said that her One Moment from Glory album, that she couldn't sing it or while she was on tour. And that's what the injunction said. And it was just for that one album, which is because she was messed up with Caesar. That's what Caesar did to her. See, he wrote her, he had wrote that for her. And he did it because she wouldn't allow Rebel to sing one of those songs. See, she should have just worked with him because she knows she needed that song. He made her popular. But in the meantime, she trying to reach her husband. Where Bishop Calvin at? Bishop Calvin done been walking through some back corridors and tunnels. I don't know where they was. I don't think they was at the church. And he get all the way back and they see him. It was like a 3-minute walk to wherever he was going. And when he get there, he hooking up with Sasha, y'all. And you know who Sasha is? Tamar Braxton. I said, what? Now, y'all gonna have to tell me something. Hold on a minute. Ooh, Sister Junebug had a cough. Honey, what in the devil Tamar done to her face? Somebody have to talk to me and put down in the comment section. I did not know that was Tamar Braxton. I didn't know who that woman was. Her face so fat. She got these big fat cheekbones and everything. You don't even see the bones, but you see the big fat thing on her face. I said, what the devil happened to her? What did she do to herself, y'all? I mean, the last thing I remember, she had shaved all her hair, but after her sister died, was her face like that before her sister died? I said, these people. She did a little, she messed up herself like that little Kimmy. What the little Kimmy did she did her face all messed up. Several years ago, we didn't even know who little Kim was no more. Little Kimmy, oh Lord. Anyway, let me move on. So CJ goes to meet with her mom, and she not CJ. I'm sorry, Lord help me. So he hooking up with her. The bishop hooking up with Sasha, and his wife trying to reach him, and he ended up rushing back there, and he said he gonna take care of the injunction thing. He gonna go talk to Caesar, So that's what he said. So meantime, Caesar he in the damn studio and he threw what's his name, Rebel boyfriend out because he kept interfering. He kept bothering them and interfering with what he was saying to Rebel. And he said, you know what? What you gonna do? You gonna get security on me? And Caesar stood up over him and said, do I look like the kind of dude that needs security? I don't. I fell out. I said, oh, shoot. Boy, Zion got out of there real quick. So he leaves and Rebel says she gonna stay. Rebecca Bell, who she don't feel like she don't even know who Rebecca Bell is, she said, anymore. She don't know who that is. She Rebel. I said, whatever. So later Caesar is in some room and he digging in some boxes and stuff and he calling a favor to get Rebel's boyfriend Zion because he got fired because he was working in the strip club, and then when the strip club burned it down because of Danita, whatever her name is, he ain't had a gig no more. So he found him a gig on the road as a DJ, and while he digging in the box, he found a ring that he still had that engagement ring that he was gonna ask Danita to marry him 30 years ago. I can't believe he still had the box. And then he found a letter that she wrote to him, a letter that he later had to show it to her husband to get him to back off and leave him alone. Then we got Bishop. Oh, Lord. Bishop Emeritus showed up. The Bishop Emeritus, you know who that is. That Danita daddy. He was the bishop before Danita husband came, Calvin. So he shows up, and guess who played Bishop Emeritus? Louis Gossett Jr. Y'all remember Louis Gossett Jr.? Louis Gossett Jr. played the Bishop Emeritus and Danita daddy, and he tried to take over and telling Bishop Calvin what to do and everything, and how to run a church, and the people, the flock had fallen off, and the monies is low, and how to handle Caesar's injunction thing, and it just like, boy, that must be a pain in the butt to be bothered by him. Then we got CJ. She talking to a counselor at the church, and she concerned about her parents finding out. Then why the hell you go talk to a counselor at the church? Why not go get a therapist outside the church? If you think because you a PK that everybody gonna know, you shouldn't have picked somebody in the church, which her brother later tells her, you need to go find a real therapist, not a counselor. So anyway, she told her about her dark thoughts and not having a place in the family. And she's asking how long that she been feeling that way. And she said since her brother was born and she's scared. I told you, like she said, she was scared this stuff was going to get back to her parents. But anyway, that was her. Then Rebel bust into Lady Jordan's office because, see, Caesar was talking to her and Caesar told her, look, I need you to sing this song. He said, your Danita is the reason that your mama's song in Korea didn't take off. And she told her, he broke it down and spilled the tea and told her everything. And she said, you had me singing at that biatch's award ceremony and did. But that was a way of getting back. It wasn't really for her. It was for them, to be honest. That's what he was doing. And so she when she found out all that, she got mad and she gonna be on ghetto and bust up in the office. Sasha trying to stop her, but she's getting there anyway. And and Danita tried to act like she wanted to thank her for singing at her ceremony or something like that. It was a surprise to her. She's like, whatever, biatch, and she's like, told her, and I know everything because Caesar told. I can't stand people like that. You find out information, then you go back and tell everybody's name who told you stuff, and he told me everything what you said, and she's like, look, Caesar just using you to get back to me. That's all that is. That's all that is. And so Rebel trying to act like, nah, that's not it, and this, that, and the other. And that's why she said, wait till I tell your son what kind of person you are and stuff like that. And she was like, well, it don't matter. You could tell him, she said, because when he chose you over the kingdom, I had to fire his behind. So her crazy butt, she thought when he did that, that meant that Rebel thought that he got fired for her. I was like, what? Yeah, she called him talking about this urgent, and he meeting her because he was in the studio with Essence, and she think he got fired for her, and he tells her, nah, that is not the case. He said, God's the one that told me to help you. And she said, well, what else is God saying? Because me and Caesar don't seem to be getting along. What is the next song? And so she told him, she told him what Caesar wanted her to sing, and he said it makes sense that people wouldn't get to know you better and hear what we said. But she said it's too painful. And he said, why? And she said, that's the song that was playing with my mama. I found my mama dead in the tub. And he's like, oh, I'm sorry, But he said, I wouldn't have sent you to, taking you over to him if he wasn't good. He's a good guy. So he said, I gotta go now. But one thing he did say to her is, if my mom in some way did squash your mom's career somehow, then why not give your mom her voice back? And she said, I'll think about it. So that was that. And then what else happened? The police captain, Ray, comes to visit the Bishop Jordan's office at his request for a favor. And he wanted info about that Danny Williams investigation, if they knew anything. And the parents and parishioners needed some hope. And he said, I can't talk about an open investigation, an ongoing investigation. And he said, the bishop reminds him how good his family has been to him and all over the years, and since he was a little kid and all this stuff. So the captain told him, we did receive some information, and that we're looking into it, and we're looking to make an arrest soon. And that's all they said. And he wouldn't tell him no more. And then what else happened? Then CJ asked Danita for her brother's job. She wanted the position that Taj got fired from. And she said, well, let me make it clear. She said she didn't think she was ready for it, but she said, Ma, don't tell me what I'm ready for. So she said, okay, well, let's get one thing straight. When you working for me, I'm your boss, not your mom. Okay? And she's like, got it. I got it. She said, now find me someone to do a duet with me to replace your brother. And she said, I'm on it. And that was that. And then what else happened? The bishop went to see Caesar. and asked him to drop the injunction against his wife. But then Caesar pulled out that letter that he found in the box from his ex, his boo from 30 years ago. Cause y'all know Danita and Caesar had a thing. Me and Mrs. Jones, Mrs. Jones. Let me stop. Don't make me sing that song. Anyway, so that was that. So he read that letter, and the letter said that something about I couldn't have never done this. This was Danita's letter to Caesar. I couldn't have never did it without you writing that song for me. That was the best song, and writing, helping me with this album and all this stuff. So she done buried herself. So there ain't nothing he could do, even though, Bishop was throwing stuff at him. Like, I got people who do an audit on your business, or they gonna do this and do that. And he said, if I do this, and he gave him a piece of paper and let him read it and said, here's, that's a copy, you could keep it. But he let him know, I got proof. I got proof from your own wife's handwriting and mouth that he helped with that. So he gonna use that in court. Anyway, what else happened? And I forgot, Caesar told him to keep that copy of the letter, get the hell out of his office. Yo, he went like a dog with his tail wagging between his legs. He had to leave. I said, oh, Caesar, what up on them? Didn't he now, y'all? Didn't he? Y'all let me know down in the comment section how you feel. Okay? And then Taj got mad at his girlfriend, saying that what was she doing that song with all that gyrating in front of him and stuff? Was that to get him to have sex with her? Because he kept saying he wasn't going to have no sex with her, and he's waiting for God to tell him when and all this stuff. So he was not feeling it. He kept telling her to stop rubbing on him and stuff in the studio, and she was getting really pissed at him and stuff, and they got into a little spat. So Essence throws, after they arguing, Essence throw Taj out. She's like, I paid for the studio time, you get out. He's like, what? Anyway, it flipped over to Rebel going back to Caesar and stuff. And she said she thought about it and she wanted to sing her mother's song. And then Caesar said, I found something that I thought I'd share with you. And he had a video of her mother singing in the recording studio, and Rebel being a little girl running around and dancing and stuff while her mother was singing and hugging her and stuff. And Rebel is looking at herself. She didn't even remember some of that stuff with her mama. It was so precious. You see the mama hugging, and she in the studio standing right where she gonna sing her mother's song. It is so beautiful. So I sit Juba get a little emotional. I tell you, I get a little emotional. Yeah. Anyway. And Rebel got emotional too. She was trying to be strong, but I guess seeing her mama and seeing her as a little girl and hugging together really did her in. And she's like, let's get to work. She ready to do the song. And then Caesar said, well, can we pray first before we do this? And they held hands and they prayed. That's the first time I seen Caesar pray, because they had Caesar acting like he doing gospel music, but he ain't nothing but the devil. So it seemed a little bit, a lot of them is, but anyhow. But this is kind of cool how they making it like a duet between her and her mama. They gonna play the mother's part, and then they gonna play her singing that along with her mother. Something like what's her name? Natalie Cole did with her daddy. Remember they did that thing? Anyway, what else happened? So Rebel get home and she excited and want to celebrate about the recording studio and how they did today with the song. And she get in the house and her man Z is packing up. He packing, talking about the Migos called him, he going on the road. And she was like, what? She would laugh at first. She didn't believe him. And then when she believed him, he said, this is good for his career. Be happy for me. She said, oh, like you was happy for me. I said, that's right? Like you was happy for me, which he wasn't. He said, look, I don't want to fight, leave here with us fighting. Come on and stuff. And he just bounced and stuff. And then they showed the Bishop. He came back to Danita and showed her that letter she wrote. Said he tried to do everything to get Caesar to drop that injunction and throwing stuff at him, saying that he gonna do this and call that person, but he still had that letter. And he said, I would have saved that letter too. if somebody sent it to me. But that's what that is. So they gonna have a problem with that issue right there. And there they go arguing again about that. So Danita is upset. She's like, if this get out, people gonna think our marriage was a scam. No, they're not gonna think. They're gonna know our marriage is a scam. He said, well, you worry about focus on your music. I'll see what I could do. That's what Bishop telling her. But he said, but you're going to have to do something that you haven't done in a while. I mean, that you don't usually do or something. He said, you got to look like you want to be with me. I said, oh, no, he didn't. Yes, he did. He said, she got to act like she want to be with him because she don't never act that way when they out in public. So that's going to show that their marriage is a scam because of her. And so now that Zion left, Rebel, I don't know if she went over to Taj's house or Taj had visited her house or something. I think he at her house. And she shows her the journal. And they drinking wine or champagne or whatever, celebrating her song, what she did in the studio with Caesar. And so he goes over to piano, Taj, and try to help her make a song out of some of the words that her friend wrote in the journal. And it's so nice. It really is. So as they rehearsing, she sits next to Rebel, sit next to him on the piano bench, and they singing the song together, and it's almost like a duet, and they looking at each other, and they drinking, and next thing you know, she leaned in for the kiss. And it looked like he almost wanted to lean in, and he turned his head and shook it and stuff, and he jumped up and said, I got to go. I got to get out of here. And he bounced. He bounced up out of there and left her sitting there. And then he get home to his girlfriend, Essence, and she in a robe and everything. And he talks to her and said, look, I want to make this work. I want this to work out. I heard what you saying. And she just like, I don't want to hear it. And she tried to walk away from him. And he apologized to her and said he didn't mean to make her, to hurt her anyway. And like I said, he said he will make it work. And he just pulled her robe off of her and stuff. And to pull it off her shoulder, threw her on the couch and stuff. And he was kissing her and stuff. And then he took off his t-shirt. And he took off his pants. And he jumped on top of her. Ooh! And he worked it out. He forgot all about the promise he made to the Lord. He forgot the promise he made to God, Lord Jesus. And he just did her in. And this girl she was so happy. Essence was hollering. Oh, Lord Jesus. Yep, they show his booty naked and everything on the TV. I was like, ooh, look at that boom. Sister Jumbo crazy. But anyway, that is what happened in that episode. It was really good. And for those of you who haven't subscribed to my channel, if you want to subscribe, please take a moment right now, hit that subscribe button, then hit the notification bell and select all, and it'll let you know all the new content that I upload. Okay? If it's Barbie J or Sister Jumbo, it lets you know, all right? And then I ask that you smash that like button, write a comment, and share my videos. That's right, sharing is caring. Anyway, I'll see you in the next video. Hallelujah. Bye.